As anticipation builds for House of the Dragon Season 3, fans are beginning to look back on what the previous season truly accomplished. While Season 2 received mixed reactions, with some calling it slower or less action-driven, it deserves far more credit than it has been given. Beneath its measured pacing, the show managed to fix Game of Thrones' greatest flaw, rushing through complex character motivations in favor of spectacle. Character depth over chaos, House of the Dragon's greatest strength. Unlike Game of Thrones, which had a Song of Ice and Fire as its detailed source material, House of the Dragon draws from George R.R. Martin's Fire and Blood, a fictional history told through unreliable narrators. This means that the series creators, Ryan Condal and Martin himself, had to interpret events and craft human emotion out of vague accounts. That creative challenge became House of the Dragon's defining triumph. Instead of relying solely on dragonfire and betrayals, Season 2 chose to focus on the people behind the conflict, on their grief, jealousy, and deeply personal motives. The season opened with Rhaenyra Targaryen mourning her son Lucerys, setting the emotional foundation for her descent into vengeance. Daemon's visions at Harrenhal explored his struggle with power, purpose, and identity, while also drawing fascinating parallels with his nephew Aemond, both men driven by pride and resentment as second sons. Meanwhile, King Aegon II's portrayal evolved from the typical mad ruler archetype into something more layered. Initially reluctant to rule, Aegon's insecurity and immaturity became central to his downfall, making his storyline more tragic than villainous. These arcs were deliberate and intimate, forcing viewers to understand the psychological unraveling of House Targaryen before the chaos of open war begins. A human story beneath the fire and blood. At its core, House of the Dragon isn't about warfare. It's about relationships fractured by ambition and misunderstanding. Unlike Game of Thrones, where the quest for power overshadowed human vulnerability, House of the Dragon keeps the focus on family and friendship turned sour. Alicent Hightower's tragedy is one of misplaced trust. Once bound to Rhaenyra by affection, she becomes a pawn of her father's political ambitions. Her belief that aligning herself with powerful men, Criston Cole, Aegon, Aemond, Larys, would secure her influence only traps her deeper in patriarchal control. By Season 2, she has lost nearly everything, watching the men she empowered dismiss her entirely when she seeks to act as regent again. On the other hand, Rhaenyra's restraint is portrayed not as weakness, but as wisdom. Her refusal to rush into war, despite Daemon's urging, shows the mark of a true leader, one who understands that once blood is spilled, there's no turning back. Her search for dragon riders among the realm's bastards also reflects her realism. She knows that peace is fragile, but she prepares for the storm to come. The show makes clear that the Dance of the Dragons was not born of pure ambition, but of grief, insecurity, and poor communication, the same failings that have torn apart dynasties both fictional and real. Season 2's slow burn makes the war ahead inevitable. Some viewers complained that Season 2 delayed the Civil War, but that was precisely the point. The show's restraint is what makes the eventual bloodshed feel earned. Through quiet conversations, painful silences, and political maneuvering, House of the Dragon meticulously builds to the moment when war becomes unstoppable. By the finale, when Alicent and Rhaenyra finally face each other, the tragedy is complete, both women realizing that every death and betrayal has been in vain, yet neither can stop what has begun. This is where House of the Dragon surpasses Game of Thrones, by refusing to treat war as spectacle and instead portraying it as the inevitable outcome of human failure. Setting the stage for the firestorm ahead. Season 2 of House of the Dragon did not give fans a grand battle. Instead, it gave them something rarer, emotional truth. It showed the cracks forming in the foundations of House Targaryen, the betrayals festering beneath royal silks, and the grief that fuels every dragon's flame. By focusing on character-driven storytelling, House of the Dragon has achieved what Game of Thrones lost in its later years: patience, nuance, and emotional weight. When Season 3 arrives, the fire and blood will finally come. But thanks to the groundwork laid in Season 2, those battles will mean something far deeper than just who wins or loses the throne.